Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome. My name is Kate. If you are new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Today, I checked the speaker, so hopefully it all works. Hi, everyone, welcome. Today, I want to do something really quickly. I felt like earlier I needed to show the timeline for Sandra Birchmore. And I accidentally went live, so if you saw it, sorry about that. That was not intentional. So that's gone now, but what I wanted to do was really quickly go through the federal pages, and I am super visual, and so I needed to understand what I was looking at. So this was for myself. I created a timeline, and you can find it anywhere, but this just helps me understand it. I also, hopefully you guys can see this too. This is a quick timeline that I made that's just like 2010, 2021. February 1st is the day, and I forgot to check to see if John died on February 1st. I can't remember. So, because after we get through this part, or after I show you this, Wade Wilson, I know I've talked about him a few times. I found a clip where he straight up explains the organization. And I want to show you guys, like, I think this is what they just did to BK. And whether you like Wade Wilson or not, that's it's a different case. So for right now, what I just want to do is quickly go over the DOJ's page, or here it is. The DOJ's papers for what they've filed. There are other channels, probably Lana, Truth and Transparency, definitely the lawyer, Emily D. Baker, love her. They go through it. And so if you want an in-depth, well, you can read it yourself or go to one of their channels. I'm sure that they've done it. This is just for our readings to all be on the same page. I skipped the top. That's the agent in charge. We'll call her Angel. Her credentials and what makes her credible to write this report. First of all, I wish they trained all. There's another one that I have that has the police report, and when you put them next to each other, it looks like a third grader versus like a senior in high school. It's unbelievable. So top level, this is an overview of the investigation, and then she brings receipts, and she brings 70, I think it's like 76 pages of receipts. So I love it. And so let's do this quickly because I want to do a reading. All right, on February, this is the overview of the investigation. If we want to see, I think I've deleted her introduction because she works for the FBI. Like, we're not on T-Bev. We don't need to see her credentials. And so the overview of the investigation. On February 1st, 2021, Staunton Police Detective Matthew Farwell unalived Sandra Birchmore. Farwell let's call him Trash Bucket, committed this murder at least in part to prevent Birchmore from disclosing to authorities information regarding his commission or possible commission of one or more crimes, including coercion and enticement in violation of 18 USC 20, and then that's the law number or the code number, depriving the rights under color of law. It's a nice play on words. In violation of 18 USC 242. And then ongoing wire fraud scheme in violation of 18 USC 1343. This right here is direct deposit. And I love it. I'm here for it. Um, Trash Bucket's murder of Birchmore was the accumulation of his years-long pattern of abuse targeting Birchmore. When she was a young girl, Sandra was interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement and eventually joined the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy. Here and thereafter, so from now on, it'll be the Police Explorers. We could call it grooming camp to learn more about law enforcement careers. While she was in the program, Trash Bucket was involved as well as both a volunteer and an instructor. He used his authority to access and groom, sexually exploit, and ultimately abuse the then 15-year-old. He continued the sexual abuse after she became an adult, and he continued to engage in an extramarital relationship with her until he unalived her on February 1st. There are signs that in late 2020 and early 21, he felt like he was losing control of her and the information she possessed about his past and then ongoing conduct. In or around December 2020, Birchmore became pregnant. Soon thereafter, she told him that he was the father of her child and she wanted him to be more involved in the planning for the impending birth. In January of 21, her friend contacted his employer, the police department, and during that call referenced the illicit relationship. Shortly thereafter, someone told him, small town stuff, instead of having an HR department investigate it. By the end of January 2021, he faced the specter of additional disclosure to law enforcement regarding his prior abuse of her and his ongoing efforts to defraud the Stoughton Police Department and the town of Stoughton by meeting her when he was supposed to be on duty as a police officer. Yikes. On February 1st, 2021, he went to her apartment in Canton, Mass, wearing a COVID-19 medical face mask. Once inside, he unalived her and staged her body in her apartment to look and make it appear as though she had died by suicide. On February 4th, 3 days after, members of the Canton Police Department went to her apartment to conduct a well-being check. When the police officers entered her apartment, they found her. The paramedic determined that she had been unalived and was transported to the office of the chief medical examiner. And from now on, it'll be the OCME. This is like Trooper Paul. Just seeing these letters remind me of Trooper Paul. In early May 2021, the OCME pathologist ruled it an unaliving by herself. Number one, here we go. Let's start getting into the receipts. Evidence that he committed federal offenses or possibly committed federal offenses by abusing her when she was a minor. So there's charge number one. And now here are her receipts. Trash Bucket started exploiting her no later than 2013 when she was 15 years old. Let's see what the page notes want to say. Oh, so he was born in 85. Yeah. At the time, she was enrolled in the Police Explorers. He used his position of trust and authority as a sworn officer and an instructor of the Explorers to groom her. Ultimately, he abused her and had hooked up with her. And this is an explanation of the Explorer program. You might as well just send your kids to Catholic church, hang out with a priest. I'm not kidding. There's research there's like 1,500 of these programs under investigation right now. If you have children, I don't know. He became a member of the Wellesley Police Department in 2008. In 2012, he was hired by the Stoughton Police Department, where he worked until he resigned in April of 22. Prior to joining, he was also a Police Explorers volunteer. After joining Stoughton Police Department, he served as a Police Explorers instructor. He had several roles, including teaching firearms, explosive safety. This is his training in the military right here. Explosive safety and conducting canine demonstrations. Do the Alberts need any help? At the time, Farwell was already familiar with the program because he was also an explorer as a teenager. In March 2010, this is the picture when she's super little. Sandra applied to be a participant. At that time, she was 12 years old. She participated in the program in the spring of 2010, and she remained in the program through 2016. He began to groom her when she was a child. And here are the receipts. Based on my training and experience, grooming is the process of a predator building a relationship with a child or a vulnerable adult in order to gain their trust, enabling the groomer to ultimately exploit the child or an otherwise vulnerable person. Mhm. The grooming accumulated in him R-ing her in 2013 when she was only 15 years old. At the time of this assault, he was 27. He continued to abuse her through up until her 18th birthday. And after she turned 18, he continued until she passed away on the 21st of February of 21. Electronic, okay. So this is 1A. Electronic messages between this trash bucket and Birchmore indicate that he abused her when she was a child. After her death, law enforcement agents, this is the FBI, I'll tell you that, this is not Stoughton, obtained her cell phone, both Apple iPhones and the laptop, and reviewed the data on these devices. During the review, agents discovered messages between the two of them. And perhaps this was the local, but isn't this the same guy in Karen Reed's case that lost like 30,000 text messages? The messages confirmed that he frequently communicated with her for years. The messages also indicated that he hooked up with her when she was a minor, starting in or around April 2013, when she was 15 and he was 27. I missed this, but I wanted to show you guys this. Under Massachusetts law, it's 16. I think New Hampshire's 12 or something ridiculous. So here are at least 3 charges we can add to his list. Hooking up with a person under the age of 16 is unlawful and constitutes abuse, especially this one. So here's a law right here that he violated. Here's one. I don't know if they put them all together at the end. I don't remember seeing that, but I like to highlight them because that's what I do. Okay, anyone who has this with a child under the age of 16, being at least 10 years older than that at the first time, is guilty of aggravated. Oh boy. Okay, so here are the laws that he violated. And finally, any mandatory, he's a mandated reporter who hooks up with a child under 16 is also guilty, another aggravated. Man, he's in trouble. Oh, they got him on BC. Okay. Well, during the relevant period as a Stoughton police officer, he was a mandatory reporter. There are 3. Thanks for coming to the team. Or thanks for coming, buddy. Okay, data from her Facebook account reveals aspects of the beginning of their online communications. Specifically, Facebook data indicates that he sent her a friend request on October 28th, 2012. At that time, she was 15 years old and a participant in the Police Explorers. He was her 26-year-old instructor. On February 21st, 2019, they had a text message conversation about him. She lost her V card. She told him that she was happy that he took it. Later in the same conversation, he acknowledged that it was a big thing to be the first. In the same conversation, he also reminisced about the first time he went to third base with her. Higgins, this is third base. Discussing the day that occurred, he asked her what she had done if he had told her he wanted to bang her that day. She responded that he would have had to wait until after school. She also recalled the specific class and seat that she was in when she realized she was going to be losing her V card to him. Based on my investigation, I believe this occurred during the 2012 to 2013 school year when she was 15 years old. Additionally, on March 19th, 2019, he asked her, "What would you have done if I had gotten you pregnant?" Pretty much, this is all being censored for my little nieces that for some reason, if they ever heard this, if you want to read it yourself, please do. Or I'm sure other people are reading it out loud, but you can find it. You can read it yourself if you'd rather, but we're going to keep it super PG here. She reassured him that she would have still finished school. She then told them, "I loved prom night. It was worth not going to the prom." So they called that night their prom night. Okay. On February 11th, 2020, they discussed the exact day that they hooked up for the first time. She had butterflies that day. This is when this just straight up predator. Yeah. Oh, and then she gives the date. Oh, good job. Nice job, Sandra. That makes me proud of you. Oh, good. That was awesome. Best day. Okay. And then they even discussed more of his criminal abuse of her. Okay. She just said that she was happy it happened. Whoa. And then he goes straight into predator mode. She's 15. And he's wondering what she would have done if he got her knocked up, I guess. She's saying, like, I was kind of scared to say no in the beginning, not knowing how you'd take it. So, yeah, you would have gotten what you wanted. This is a B. Okay, so we're still under 1B. Other electronic messages confirm that he abused her when she was a child. Here are the receipts. Text messages and between her and others confirm that he abused her as a child and continued it up until the time that she is no longer alive. For example, on October 5th, 2020, Birchmore texts one of her friends, and so going forward, it'll be person one, that he had been hooking up with her for the almost 10 years. Wait, so in 20, and that he had hooked up with her before she was 16. So this is bestie. We're going to call person one her bestie. On May 20th, 2020, she told another friend that she had hooked up with him 5 days before the Boston Marathon bombing. This is April 15th. That's what that note is. Also, on October 5th, 2020, she prepared. This is when things start going a little sideways for our man. I like this. Also, on October 5th, she prepared a draft text message to his wife. She sent the draft to Bestie, and it states in part, "I'm just messaging to inform you that your husband has been cheating on you since before you even got married. Things are going a little bit sideways for him." And then the agent says, "I am aware that they were married in May of 2013, shortly before she turned 16. There is no record indicating that the message was actually sent to the wife." Right here, we can go ahead and say this is motive. He's starting to lose his mind. Other text messages between the two of them demonstrate his interest in minors. This is when it's going to get gross again. Oh, I should do trigger warnings. June 15th, they exchanged text messages in which they discussed role-playing their encounter. He asked her how old she was going to pretend to be. When she responded 14, he responded with a smiley face emoji. In another conversation between the two of them, and asks her to please say, "Will you stop? I'm 13. I'm not ready for this." This is the agent. I've also reviewed several messages from 2020 in which he instructs her to act as if, okay, well, this right here is some serious. I mean, if there were any questions that he was abused, right here answers it. He instructs her to act as if it's her older brother coming into her room at night to hook up with her. What? Okay. It's not a good idea, buddy. Okay. So this is the receipts part C. Witnesses confirmed that he cultivated a close relationship with her while she was still a child. Agents have interviewed one of her friends. This is going to be person two. This is kind of the mentor and auntie that I was saying earlier regarding the relationship. Auntie, where this is a trusted, it feels like an older friend. Shortly before her death, indicated that shortly before she died, she revealed that he had started hooking up with her when she was 15. Agents also interviewed one of Sandra's relatives who described being aware that she would meet with him when she was a minor. Specifically, oh, this is the 27-year-old studying with a girl, a little teenager. Okay, first of all, when I was 27, going to the library with, unless I was like a big sister in the role of a sister, or I guess it would be no, no way. Specifically, this family member indicated that around the time she was a freshman in high school, she would tell him she was meeting with him so he could help her with her homework. So she was a freshman in high school from this school year of 2011 to 2012. I have reviewed text message exchanges between the two of them on June 17, 2019, where the two discuss how he has helped her test prep at the library. He told her that, okay, he told her that she should have wanted to hook up with him that day. Ew. Oh, she was scared to speak up. He then asked her, "Did you think I wouldn't want to hook up with you?" And she responded, "Yes. And like, because of my age, I didn't want you to be like, no." And he told her, "I understand that." Oh, Mr. Nice Guy. In a conversation from April 5th of 2020, he knew that he wanted to hook up with her when he started helping her with her schoolwork. Additionally, on February 21st, they reminisced about the first time when they first became hooking up. Well, first of all, this is a red flag. If any of your girlfriends ever, or if you are saying this to a guy, I listened back better. I listened better back then, though. Oh, I wish it had been a year before. I was helping you study. He's like, "You still listening? Give me whatever I want." Yeah. And she's like, "I didn't even make you wait a year after that. And good. I don't think you're going to get what you want next time." Oh, that's her. Oh, boy. And then, oh, okay. And then he says, "I would have hooked up with you in 12." And she's like, "In 12?" And he's like, 2012. Agents also interviewed one of her childhood friends. This is person number 3, that she would meet him to help her with her homework. Person number 3 indicated that Sandra confided in them that she was meeting him in early high school to hook up with him in his police car or in his truck. Evidence that he committed federal offenses or possibly committed offenses by submitting false information. This right here. I don't know why I think this is so awesome. I mean, I've already started highlighting this because I like to read it and then not go back. But then I was thinking that I should get us all on the same page. If you don't like this stuff, no problem. Okay, so this is when he's getting paid by Stout. Why can't I pronounce Staunton? It's like right next door to me. I should know this, but Stanton. Stanton. Why am I pronouncing it wrong? I should fix it all. On multiple occasions, he engaged in hooking up while he was on duty. To cover this up, he falsely represented that he had worked certain hours, when in fact, he was not working. Rather, he was hooking up or spending time with Sandra. Accordingly, his misconduct was also part of a scheme to obtain wages from the Stanton Police Department, an agency of the town of Stanton, through false statements or material omissions regarding the hours he was on duty and working as a police officer. Oh man, so here are the receipts. The text messages with Birchmore indicate that he hooked up with her while he was on duty. We know that. Messages between them indicate on multiple occasions he left work during his shifts to meet and at times hook up with her. These encounters occurred at various locations, including her previous home, her recent apartment, a Costco parking lot in Stanton, and a Five Guys parking lot in Canton. Okay. I get the affair part. Was he in his cruiser in Costco parking lot? Yeah, I think he was. He left work during his shift. So wait, he was in his cruiser in the Costco parking lot in Stanton and a Five Guys? What? Okay, and here are all the receipts. Examples of dates and approximate start times of these encounters are listed here. We're not going through them all because she did her work. April 10th, I'll just go through the first couple. April 10th, 2020, 11:46 p.m. So all of these days. You can see his November 28th. Oh, they hung out twice. But look at all this. The feds don't play. I have reviewed messages that reveal that both of them knew that some of their encounters happened while he was on duty. For example, on April 10th, he wrote, "I'm going to sneak away from work quick." And on the 24th, she asked him if he would be on duty when the two were scheduled to meet. He said, "Yes, I'll be on the clock." The text messages between the two of them preceded several of the above listed encounters contained statements indicating that the purpose for at least some of the encounters was to engage in hooking up. For example, on several occasions, he sent her text messages directing her to act as if she's being AR'd during the encounter. Ew. Farwell's scheme to defraud caused interstate wire communications. I don't know why I think this is awesome and hilarious. Because it lightens it up a little. The town of Stanton pays its officers on a biweekly basis on or around 2020, between January, December to January of 21. He received his paychecks via direct deposit to his account at USSA Federal Savings Bank. The paycheck funds originated with Rockland Trust Bank and were deposited in Farwell's account, Automated Clearinghouse. Each automated clearinghouse originated outside of Massachusetts and traveled through another state before terminating in his account. There's your interstate. Accordingly, it appears that by engaging in hooking up when he should have been performing his official duties as a police officer and obtaining pay for that time, he has committed wire fraud. And this is another law that he committed, or another law that here's another charge. Why do I think this? I think this part's fun just because it lightens the mood. It's hard to read. This is why it took so long. Okay, it is my belief. Okay, this is the agent, number 3. He unalived her to prevent her from telling anyone else about she would have blown up his life. Federal crimes and about his commission of federal crimes and possible commission of federal crimes. As described in detail below, there's evidence that he unalived her on February 1st, 2021, to prevent her from disclosing information about his possible commission of the federal crimes listed above. This is when things start taking a turn for him. her pregnancy. On October 5th, 2020, person one, so this is Bestie, told Birchmore that his wife, okay, so Bestie told her Sandra's best friend told her that Trash Bucket's wife was pregnant with the couple's third child. Person one indicated that the baby was due in February of 21. She responded that she was going to tell his wife that they had been hooking up for nearly 10 years. Well, this is when he starts going nuts. In summary, electronic messages between the two of them for the period beginning in or about October 5th, 2020 through January 21st indicate that she presented him with an ultimatum. He would have to agree to engage in hooking up with her with the goal of having a child, and in return, she would not tell on him. She had already told others that he had been hooking up with her since before she was 16, which she knew was a crime. And she knew that he was leaving work to hook up with her while he was on duty at as a Stanton police officer. I highlighted and circled this part. This was when it really hit the fan for him. According to text messages between Farwell and Birchmore sent a photo of her schedule, and the two started discussing timing their encounters around a specific time in her cycle. She turned on the heat. That just went from 0 to 100. So she sent him a picture. All right, so now we're at motive number 2. I mean, approximately 1 week after he agreed to hook up with her in order to have a baby, they had a disagreement about the terms of their agreement. The following is an excerpt from this conversation. Gaslighting, gaslighting, gaslighting. I said the agreement was once. That was our compromise. I asked if we could try this month. I didn't realize that you meant one time. And then I asked if we could try through this year, and you said you'd think about it. And then it continues. Our compromise was to try once. Yeah, it was to try this month. So you're thinking about the second thing I said as far as the rest of the year. You said to try once this month. If it happens, it's meant to be. Those were your exact words. Gaslight, gaslight, gaslight. Okay, so next thing. Text messages indicate that a few weeks after she continued to discuss trying to get pregnant. On November 3rd, she asked him if they could try again that month or whether they would need to talk in person. He responded, that's an in-person discussion. On November 5th, she asked if he had given any more thought to their prior conversation and told him that she thought of a way they could both be happy. How would you feel about us having a baby, you being there and signing the birth certificate? There's never going to be a need for your information anyway, so you'll be safe there. And I won't talk about her or your kids. That way we can both get what we want. Well, when you play with fire, you're going to get burned. Good job, Sandra. I mean, she says, you asked me the other day what I wanted, and I didn't want to give it to you in the form of an ultimatum. So I'm trying to do it with you. I'm trying to do this as a compromise. Can you please tell me what you've thought of? I'm down for discussing it in person, but the more I thought about it, you signing it really isn't going to have an impact on you because of the way things are going to fall in the future. Okay, that's an in-person discussion. In November, after she learned she was not yet knocked up, she asked about continuing to try to conceive for another month. On multiple occasions, he told her that they would need to discuss in person. He continued to meet with her in person, and text messages suggest that they remained hooking up. On December 28th of 2020, she sent him a text message informing him that she was pregnant. She sent him a photo of a poster she had made to celebrate the pregnancy. Oh, that's really sad. This is what I mean. It's really hard to read this. That says, congrats, we are going to be parents. His immediate response to Birchmore's disclosure about the pregnancy was, I literally have nothing to say right now. How could you express that in text when I said I don't appreciate it? Gaslight. They then continued to argue about the pregnancy in the following text conversation. How far are you? Regardless of how far, we're keeping it. But since you asked, 3.5 weeks. Which means I conceived this month. Okay, well, we need to talk then. No kidding, that's pretty obvious. And the birth certificate is getting signed. Like you're signing it. Or hers isn't. Let's check the cliff notes. Or not cliff notes. At the time of these text messages, I know that his wife was 8 months pregnant with his third child. Based on the context of these texts and prior messages, I believe that she was referring to the birth certificate of the child that his wife was carrying. Yikes. Yikes. This is a tough spot for you, mister. And we'll go ahead and put this down as another motive. I'm not mad you're acting. Okay. Or hers isn't. No, I'm mad you're acting how you are over a choice we both made. I'm mad you act like you gave anyone a choice. Oh, so you didn't have a choice? And he ignores her. Per usual, you make and do whatever you want. She said, all I did was say, I can have it. Wait, all I did was say, can I have it? You said, have what? And I said, you know what I'm asking for. And you stood up and said, yeah. You've been doing that. You're mad she's due in February and I am in September, and you don't know how you're going to be there for both of us. Yikes. There's another motive. She's putting on the pressure. This little fool, she got old enough. She can think critically. And you need to be there during my labor too. Yep. Oh boy. This is some serious pressure. Well, you played with fire. Because this kid should matter too. And then she's saying, like, I'm due late August, early September. He says, you are truly the worst person on the face of the earth. After the foregoing conversation, she again threatened to expose the truth about their prior abuse and their ongoing relationship. Yikes, things definitely went from 0 to 100. He responded by indicating that she had threatened him, causing him, what? He responded by indicating that Birchmore had threatened him, causing him to agree to impregnate her. This is him. For the past week and a half, the doctor wasn't right, but now she was, and you just throw it at me because now you've got me. You honestly have no idea how to treat people. I have bent over backwards for you. Now you want to act like this was some free will decision? You have threatened me from the word go. And if I didn't do and give you what you wanted, you would ruin me. I made a deal with you and you changed the terms at every turn. We will deal with this tomorrow. Yikes. You, mister, made a deal with the devil, not her. Okay, B. So this is 2B. The escalating physical violence. On December 29th, 2020, they met to talk in person. After this meeting, she sent him a text alluding to a physical encounter. It made me really uncomfortable and stressed out when you were next to me because I thought you were going to hit me after what you said. And you took things out of my hand. That's why I was crying. I know you wouldn't, but it still scared me. Pressure is mounting. Okay, number 49. At least 3 witnesses have disclosed that in the weeks prior to her unaliving, she told them that Farwell was physically violent when she brought up the baby. According to death records, she was 4'10", and according to his military records, he was 6'4". Person 2, so this is like the auntie, reported that in the weeks prior to her death, she was over the moon about the pregnancy. According to person 2, she had decreased her coffee consumption. Okay, so what this agent is doing now is building the case of why she's not suicidal. She had decreased her coffee consumption, discussed winter clothes for her future baby, and engaged in FaceTime calls with person 2 while selecting baby clothes. Person 2 indicated that she was nervous about telling him about the pregnancy, but that she eventually did. In January of 21, she called her auntie, or person 2, stating that after telling him about the baby, he told her that he wished she would just die, and he wants nothing to do with the baby. Oh my God. This is like, oh, this sounds like Proctor. That's what I mean. What's wrong with these men? According to the information Birchmore shared with person number 2, he put her in a headlock. Okay, so this is the first time that we've seen him getting physically violent with her. So now we're escalating. She's escalating, and so is he. She's escalating her pressure, and he's escalating from words to touch. Like, this is the first time this agent put it in here. Before she said she alluded to it, but this is the first time. And grabbed her cell phone from her hand. Person 2 told her to distance herself from him, given that he was dangerous, a police officer, and obviously did not care about the law. Yikes. Well, that's a good point. Job, auntie. However, person 2 was also aware that she appeared to be attached to him because he had been grooming her since she was 12. Okay, so now we're going to move to person 3. This is another friend. Indicated that in the days before her, Sandra had disclosed he had been violent. Okay, so now we have our receipts and witnesses. Approximately 10 days before her death, her and her girlfriend, one of her friends, man or woman, went to Walmart to buy a baby stroller for the future child. So this is the case she's building. She's building that Sandra was not suicidal because she's doing things to, like, she wants to better herself for the child, and a suicidal person wouldn't be buying stuff for the baby, if you know what I mean. That's what this agent is telling us. Okay. I want to also highlight, okay, I'm just going to highlight this because I never read these twice, but I want to, okay. She was excited about the baby. This is another, she's reinforcing the fact that she was not planning on not being around. She then asked person 3 to be the child's godmother. She told person 3 that the day prior, he had gotten angry with her for showing her a sonogram. According to her, he said, this is like right out of Proctor's book. That's not my child. I don't want anything to do with you. And then he pushed her to the ground. Oh boy, things are not looking good in this guy's life, obviously. Dummy. I want to go back to this because this is now showing that he is this is becoming a pattern. That's what this agent is proving. Person 3 told Birchmore to end the relationship with him. She also indicated that she seemed scared, but not ready to leave him because he'd been such a big part of her life, obviously. I mean, okay. Additionally, person 7. Okay, this is the part I was asking you guys about. Additionally, person 7, her longtime therapist, reported that in the weeks prior to her death, she reported to her. So Birchmore's therapist reported to her. I want this to be like not that color. This is the part. I wonder how is this lady or man or whoever it is not responsible for? She's a mandatory reporter too. Okay. So additionally, mandatory. Oh, it is he. Oh no, that's my handwriting. This is me. I put this in here. It's like, I put it in a different color, so I'd remember to make a comment on it. Or not a comment here, but I just wanted to know, what are the laws on this? Make this color so that I know it was me. Yeah, so additionally, person 7, her longtime therapist reported in the weeks before her death, she reported to her that he got upset about the impending pregnancy and shoved her. In addition to these descriptions of his violence targeting her from person 2, 3, and 7, her text messages to person 1 can further confirm the escalating violence. She was escalating the pressure, and he was escalating the violence. Just like a stand-up guy. On January 10th of 2021, Sandra sent a text message to the bestie that she had recently argued with him. She told bestie that during the argument, he took her cell phone out of her hand 3 times and refused to give it back to her. She also indicated that he took her computer out of her hand and used his body to shove her. This is not good. Things do not look good for you, mister. Okay, so back up C. January 21st, there was increasing pressure on him. Yeah, she was definitely increasing the pressure. Oh, honey buns. In January of 21, the pressure on Farwell increased as a result of her pregnancy. So the pressure was increasing hard. She was not playing anymore. She had him by the balls, and he did it to himself. She tried to communicate with him regarding her due date, ultrasound, genetic testing, gender reveals, and doctor appointments. In his text messages, he was unresponsive or dismissive of those topics, or he appeared to just ignore them. On January 4th, 21, she told him that she was going to the doctor the next day and asked if he wanted to know how the appointment went. He didn't respond. On January 5th, she asked him to come over so they could discuss her estimated due date, the week of her first ultrasound, her conversation with the doctor, and her first appointment. He did not respond. Text messages from January 3rd show that Birchmore asked Farwell if their child could have his last name. Oh boy, more pressure. Well, when you play with fire, you're going to get burned, and you made a deal with the devil, mister. However, he told her he would not discuss that via text. So, and this is Sandra. So I have a compromise for you. You don't need to sign the birth certificate if the baby can have your last name. ... And he's not discussing that in person. In another message on January 6th, she began to ask Farwell, oh man, she began to ask him what their family would look like. I told you guys she wanted to be the steak, not the side salad. Birchmore now giving ultimatums. Number one, you don't have to sign the birth certificate if I'm allowed to at least list you, and they can have your name, and I won't move to Stanton or East something, wherever he lives now. Number 2, I won't bitch about the holidays, but I would like you to come a few days before Christmas and Easter so you can see what they get from me, and I don't want you to leave them out. And number 3, if you want to try and support them, we can talk about that, but I do want you to see them. Yikes. And I feel like I'm trying to be as fair as I can. I want you there for labor, and I'm standing my ground on that. We need to discuss this more in person. Does that sound okay to you? This is the agent's note. His reluctance to discuss the pregnancy via text message is significant because it's inconsistent with their long history of text messages discussing regarding seemingly private topics. For example, there are thousands of text messages between them in which he discusses details regarding his work as a police officer, his fantasies that were predominantly violent, and included many references to gross. And I'm saying gross because, and graphic details about their previous encounters. So if you need more backup, I think it's okay. And then somehow he writes her back. I think it's a lot to think about So much more than you've ever asked for, Birchmore, and still less than any other girl would have asked for. Number 58. On January 20th, 21, person 2, this is Auntie, called the Stanton Police Department and in that call referenced a relationship between the two of them. After learning about this call, the fact which suggested at least some aspects of his illicit conduct may have been exposed to Stanton Police Department, he sent a text to Birchmore revealing his extreme anger. He sent her a series of texts with explicitives telling her that he thought no one knew about their relationship. She had no clue how bad this was, and indicating that he does not know if he needs to worry about other disclosures. Oh, so this is how he's going to stop it right here. And indicating. So this agent is pretty much writing anything a lawyer would need, a prosecuting attorney. Dude, your friend called my job. WTF. What do you mean? Your friend, you just called my work to complain about me. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I literally just woke up. Did you steal from her? Nope. That seems like a below the belt thing. What's going on? You also told me no one knew about us, yet she claimed that I was hooking up with a child. It's literally nothing. It's not nothing. She called my job. That's insane. Why would she call and drop my name, Sandra? Like, what do I have to do with you not giving her something? What? Like, you have no idea how bad what she did is. I literally can't believe this is even real life. Like, what else do I have to worry about? Which other friend will do something tomorrow? During this investigation, I interviewed person 5, an employee of the Stanton Police Department who received the call. See what I mean? She brings receipts. From person 2 on January 20th, 21. Person 5 indicated that she took down the name and information and gave it to Farwell. Why would you? Okay, well, that sounds like a horrible idea. Person 5 indicated that he immediately got angry and mad and ordered person 5 to never speak about this to anyone ever again. He described the reaction as atypical and not consistent with his normal behavior. What's your normal policies and procedures on a police officer getting reported for hooking up with a child? Just tell the police officer? I think that raises some more questions. Okay, D, her final days. On approximately January 24th of 21, 1 week prior to Birchmore's unaliving, she communicated with person 8 about Farwell. Was person 8 our... Wait a second. 7 is the therapist. So the father came by last night and it was like a complete 360. Oh, and the person's like 180. Yeah, whatever. Person 5 did not have an independent memory of the date of the call, but I confirmed, here we go, but I confirmed such date through business records. I brought my receipts. Person 8, good or bad? Sandra, good but unexpected. So it kind of threw me off and made me a little uncomfortable, but that's because of how things were going. He asked me if I'd give him a key and said that if I kept it a secret, he'll be around and see them and all that. So it's somewhere. Then he looked in my closet and then the bathroom, but I don't know why I haven't figured that out. Wow. Well. We started to have a heart-to-heart, and then work called, so we had to leave. Oh, and he brought me a ginger ale because I ran out. And her friend's like, what about the birth certificate? And she's like, I think he's going to sign it, but I'm not sure. He's coming back again this week. But it was like a complete 180 from where we were at. And then here's the agent. Based on my training and experience, I believe that his shift in demeanor on or about this date was his attempt to appease Birchmore until he could follow through with his plan. Additionally, the foregoing text messages, considered in light of the other evidence, suggests that he was making the plan. This is premeditated to unalive her. Part of that plan included asking her to give him a key and to keep it a secret. Another part of that plan was inspecting various rooms of her apartment, including the closet, to determine whether they contained items or presented options for how and when. to on the library. His request for a key to her apartment in the week leading up to her unaliving is corroborated by other evidence. I have reviewed text messages between Farwell and Birchmore from January 24th, 2021, in which Birchmore gave him the passcode to her building's front door. I have your key too when you I have your key too. When do you want it? Additionally, this is the agent. Additionally, I reviewed the records from Walmart, and that suggests Birchmore did in fact pay approximately $2 to have a key copied at 11:10 January 24th. I don't know what the defense is going to say. I just want to do this. On February 4th, Canton found her body next to the closet door with a duffel strap around her neck. The strap was wrapped around the closet door handle. So she's just backing up the weirdness of him asking and looking in her closet. According to text messages Birchmore and Farwell exchanged on January 29th, she again gave him the passcode to her building's front door, and he verified that the code was the general one given to the entire building, not just assigned to her. Another sign of premeditation. I missed a few up there. His requesting or accepting a key to her apartment was a sudden change from recent conversations. I have reviewed text messages between the two of them. One as recent as October 14th, in which he told her that he did not think it was a good idea for him to keep a key to her new Canton apartment. In a conversation with person number 9 on January 24th, she indicated that she was surprised he was now requesting a key to her apartment. So another one of her girlfriends. Did it go well? I got hit with a shocker question. Can I call you? Oh, okay. So her friend's asking, did it go well with him? And she said, I got hit with a shocker question. Can I call you? So what? It went really well, surprisingly. He asked if he could have a key, and I basically said he'll be around as long as I keep it a secret and don't tell anyone. But he did admit that I do have the upper hand in the situation, which isn't a good thing, but I'm trying to and not be that kind of person. Oh boy. Well. Her girlfriend, are you going to give him the key? Yeah, I made him a copy of it. Good. Well, that's good then. I'm going to try to give it to him. Yeah, he also brought me a ginger ale last night, like I asked him to. He's coming around. Yeah, no, he's not. A lot more than I thought he was going to, yes. I still have to verify the PIN for him to get into the apartment if he rings me and I don't answer. But like last night, he opened my closet door for something, and then he went into the bathroom, looking at my bathroom. And I have a dolly in my living room, and he asked me why I had it. It was just really odd because he started looking around. I don't know. Yikes. Her girlfriend's like, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it's really weird. According to a text message between Farwell and Birchmore 2 days before Birchmore's death, she continued to engage him about planning for the birth of their child. On January 30th, Birchmore asked Farwell if she could tell him the baby names she was considering. He said he'd rather discuss it in person. Leading up to February 1st, 2021, she planned for another important baby-related event, such as who would care for her cats when she went into labor. This is more backup that she was not planning on herself. She ordered baby items. Okay, so this is all backup for this agent and a prosecuting attorney. They'll use this too. She ordered baby items and conducted Google searches related to her pregnancy and future child-rearing decisions. She also planned for newborn baby photos. More backup. All of this is backup that she was not planning on unaliving herself. What color did I put? I need backup for. I think it was this one. Okay. I don't like that color on this. It's hard to read it. Okay. All right. She planned a newborn baby photo shoot, an official pregnancy announcement, which she planned to do on Valentine's Day, as well as a gender reveal. Pressure is mounting. She also made plans for her more immediate future. This is just more backup for prosecution. The defense is looking rather bleak, buddy. Scheduling an OBGYN appointment for February 10th and asking him to shovel out her car during the impending snowstorm. This planning is of note because it indicates that shortly before her death, she was doing things that indicate her plans for the future. So she was not suicidal. That's what this agent is saying. It's important because it reveals a level of care for her pets that is inconsistent with the circumstances of her death. Specifically, when they found her in her apartment on February 4th, her cats were present. She had made no arrangements for the animals. Oh, good thinking. Oh, that was a really good catch. Wow, that was awesome. That was a really, really good catch. Oh, what kind of defense would you bring? I don't know. I'm not worried about that. During the investigation, agents also learned that she had been taking classes in preparation for applying to nursing school. Okay, more backup, more backup, more backup. This is going to be pink, or whatever that color is. Okay. She had been taking, okay. The day of her unaliving. On February 1st this is that timeline that I made us. It's in the beginning of this. Okay, on February 1st, she sent him a text indicating she was going to be out of work early from her job at the Sharon Public Schools. He told her he would not be in the area. Oh, he's so cool. Later in the afternoon, she told him that she had received an early gift in the mail and she was not planning to have a baby shower until late March because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. He's losing his mind. She told him that when she learned whether they were having a boy or a girl, she wanted him to purchase clothes for the child to wear when they came home from the hospital. Investigators have reviewed surveillance videos from her apartment building. I've posted this. On February 1st, she is seen on the video at approximately 5:01 accepting a DoorDash. Oh, DoorDash. Oh, do we have some information about Idaho? Actually, I don't want to forget that. And then again, going outside briefly and returning with the snow brush at 5:31 and 5:33, respectively. So she walked out at 5:31, brushed her car off, came back. Last time she is seen alive on the video is February 1st at 5:33 when she comes back in from brushing her car off. Later that evening at approximately 9:08, he sent her a text message asking whether he could stop by for a second. At approximately 9:10, she sent a message indicating that when he arrived at her apartment, the door would be open for him. This is the last known outgoing message sent from her cell phone. Surveillance video shows him entering her apartment building at 9:14. I'm aware of the electronic time. Oh, I love this agent. I'm aware of the electronic timestamp on the apartment's complex's video surveillance system was off by approximately 13 minutes. The surveillance video times set forth in this affidavit account for this 13-minute difference and therefore are the approximate real times of the events. Oh boy. Oh, I have this too. And then number 13, I have reviewed Massachusetts State Patrol's investigative reports, which tentatively identify him as the person on surveillance footage entering her apartment. I have that too. I actually might just do that one too because it is going to be night and day. On the surveillance video, he is seen wearing street clothes. So pretty much right here, she's saying MSP didn't do their job. That's pretty clear. Well, okay, he's seen walking in with a hoodie up and a face mask that's similar to the medical face masks that many people used during the pandemic. I have interviewed multiple witnesses who have each indicated that he didn't wear a mask during the pandemic. And one of the witnesses stated that he would only wear a mask when on duty and required by department policy. This surveillance recording shows that Farwell left her apartment at 9:43 p.m. Oh boy. Oh boy. He's in trouble. F. Canton police officers found her body on the 4th. So you just let her. On February 4th, Canton officers conducted a well-being check at the apartment. One of her coworkers called the police because she had failed to show up for work that day. When officers arrived, they found her body seated on the floor in a reclined position with a strap around her neck. That strap was connected to a closet doorknob. The closet, oh, well, if there was any question what closet, it was the one that he inspected approximately 1 week earlier. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. This is like a show. There's a show on Hulu called I don't know. But I can't remember the name of it. At least one first responder quickly concluded that she had been not alive for a few days. Oh, here's more backup. I have reviewed crime scene photos. Wait until we see this report for John. This is 73 pages long. Oh man. I don't know how long that'll be, but I've reviewed crime scene photos that depict Birchmore wearing the same clothing that she was wearing when she is seen on the video entering her apartment. You know, when she walks back in and she's holding the ice scraper? I think it's a pink jacket. This is consistent with her having been unalive that same evening. According to police reports, when her body was found, her cell phone was on the floor, located approximately 12 inches from her right hand and 6 inches from her right knee. I don't even know what that means. February 1st, I have also reviewed a report. Oh, these state patrol officers. If your name's on this, you are in trouble. She is throwing the Josh Levy a bone. There's 2 right here. I reviewed the report regarding the state police's interview of Farwell, in which he admitted he went to her apartment. In that interview, he stated that he had been there between 9:10 to 9:30. I have also reviewed the data on her phone. A log report indicates that the phone was locked from 9:13 on February 1st until the device powered off because of battery loss on the 3rd. On the 1st, while it was still locked, her phone recorded a screenshot of the black screen at 9:18. In other words, after sending a final text message to him to tell him that the door was unlocked, her phone locked and was not unlocked until after the device was recovered by police. Wait a second. Why is this? There's something really important. Did he try to get into her phone? That must be why she's including this. Oh boy. There's some tampering with evidence. I think that's what this is right here. Oh my. So in other words, after sending the final text to tell him the door was unlocked, her phone locked and was not unlocked. Okay. What time did he walk in there? I have a different spreadsheet for this. Okay, so she sends a text asking, can you guys see this? No. Okay. Okay, so this is just another spreadsheet that I made. Okay, so on the 1st, she sent a text asking, or he sends a text asking if he can come by. This is missing There's something about this 13. Okay, wait. At 9:14, he enters her apartment as seen on surveillance video. What did that thing just say? Did that say 14? Okay. I think this is him trying to get into her phone. I think that's why that's significant. Oh boy, he's in trouble. Yikes. Health data on her phone indicates that the last movement recorded by the phone occurred at 9:40. Oh boy. That is not good for him. Oh my gosh. The reason this isn't good is because it locked. Okay. So, based on everything that we know so far, she has her phone on her all the time and uses it all the time. She texts him at 9:14. The last movement. Oh, he's in trouble. Oh boy. Okay. So what this is saying, I'll explain it in a second. I'm just putting it all together. So she sent him this text at 9:13. And and yeah. Oh, he walked in and did it right away. That's what this is saying. Okay. I have to go. Okay. So 9:13. You know what I need to do? I need to add this line and then we can visualize it. I have reviewed. Okay, so at 9:13, it locks. Okay, so at 9:13, oh, he's in trouble. Oh boy, she is narrowing this down to the like minute. Okay. So come here, buddy. So sorry guys, I just want to make sure that so 9:13 p.m. her phone locks. Okay. I missed this. Oh my. This is not good for him. Okay. So he sends a this happens really fast. He sends a text message at 9:08. At 9:13. So Sandra's phone. Oh boy, this happens really fast. So he sends a text at 9:08. That's like 6 minutes later, she's already. He asks if he can stop by. And then at 9:18. Oh boy, he's in trouble. Oh my goodness. This reminds me of Alex Murdaugh. Oh boy, he's in trouble. What a dummy. She's gonna nail it down to the minute. I mean, we're getting it almost to the second in a second. Her phone recorded. Okay. Oh boy. Her phone locked. Wait a second. So where does this go? The phone locked. Yeah, okay. That's not the one you guys don't have to watch me do this. I just want to. All right, we can keep going. There was a screen recording. I think this is him. Okay, so I'm gonna walk us through this again. I think what he does here is copy text. Oh boy, he's in trouble. While still locked. Yikes, it's a tough day to be a criminal. Wow, this is amazing. Every single time I love them. I love the feds. 9:18 p.m. Wow, this happened really, really fast. He asks her if he can come over at 9:08. At 9:13, her phone locked. And by 9:18, it looks like he was trying to get into her phone. And it took a screenshot of the black screen. So 9:08 to 9:18 is when this happened. 9:08, so that would be 4. Oh, that's 10 minutes. So this happened in 7 minutes right here. This is the time that's important. Well. Okay, this is very similar to John. This is how they have it with John too. Okay, so they narrowed it down to the exact moment. In other words, after sending the final text to tell him the door was unlocked, her phone was locked and never used again. Health data indicates that the last movement recorded by the phone occurred at 9:40. That's because he touched it. Remember? Based on my training, okay, I'm aware. Okay, so she's just giving a disclaimer about the health data. She's not saying it went up a hill, though, Lally. I've also interviewed multiple witnesses who have reported on her frequent, almost incessant phone use. No kidding. In fact, one witness referred to her phone as her third hand. Oh boy. Yikes. 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 Okay, so health data indicates that the last movements recorded by her phone was at 9:40. That is 3 minutes before he leaves the apartment. Oh my. Oh, she even nails this. I didn't see this. Specifically, I don't know if I read this part. This data indicates the mechanism. Okay. The Apple recorded 8 steps at approximately 9:40. They got in a fight. That's what I'm guessing. Well, I mean, it's not obvious, but it's obviously because he had to put her phone back next to her body. What? These recorded steps occurred while he was still in her apartment. Yeah, that's how he put it back to her body. The phone recorded no additional steps between 9:40 and the time it was recovered by first responders. As noted above, first responders ultimately found the phone next to her body. Based on my review of the frequency of her phone use over weeks, months, and years leading up to her death, her failure to access her phone is inconsistent with their usual habits, alive and awake. Yikes. I reviewed her phone use from the hours leading up to her death on February 1st. The following are some of the items on her phone data from the hours before her death. This is evidence that appears to be inconsistent with her, a pregnant woman. Oh, so here's how the prosecution can pretty much say that this is like unbelievable. She communicated with photographer. Oh, so she even outlines her backup. This is all the backup. She was not suicidal. She wanted to book a newborn baby shoot. She wanted to get clothes. And she looked for some chubby kids' furniture. The condition of, okay, so now we're on to G. The condition of and the items found in her apartment were inconsistent with her dying by suicide. Oh boy, this is going to be. Have we seen this yet from the feds for John? I have interviewed family members who helped clean her apartment in the days following her death. Some of the things they observed that were also inconsistent with her deciding to die by suicide. For example, they noted that she had been in the middle of doing laundry. Oh boy. When she died, with a load of wet clothes in the washing machine and another load in the dryer. Well, that's pretty much next level. That's a great observation. Additionally, they observed a homemade sign saying oh boy. Oh boy, this didn't make it into this report. A homemade sign saying, "Congrats, you're gonna be a daddy." Oh boy. Well, when you play with fire, you're definitely gonna get burned. And he got burned, and I bet that I don't even think that infuriated him. I just think he was like so over it. Oh, the sign had an ultrasound photo on it and it was sprinkled with glitter. Additionally, in her apartment, family members observed a new baby stroller that was still in its package. They also observed a homemade store-bought onesie for the baby. One onesie read, "We're going to be parents," with a set of footprints underneath. She had packages that had been delivered recently, including clothing and other supplies. She had ordered items shortly before her death, and packages continued to arrive in the days following her death. This is pretty much a mic drop moment. Right here is like, I mean, as if you didn't needed any more backup, but oh boy. Oh boy. He's in. This is probably exactly what it looks like. I didn't see this for Karen Reed's. I didn't try, but there's a lot more information. Oh, thanks to Turtle Boy, there was a lot more information available. So it wasn't quite as, he did all the work. Okay, so we've finished that page. Finally, oops, oh boy. And now the medical examiner is about to get thrown under the bus, I'm guessing. We're not there yet. Finally, the family members found a necklace that belonged to Birchmore, lying on the floor of her bedroom. This necklace is consistent with a thin gold chain with a pink flamingo charm. This necklace is consistent of a thin gold chain with pink flamingo charm. The family, I bet you she saw it in pictures or something. The family members observed that the necklace chain was broken, but not at the clasp. Oh, there was definitely a struggle. Oh, well, there was a large clump of hair on the chain. From my review of the crime scene photos, I observed that while the strap was still around Birchmore's neck, the necklace was broken and hanging from the left side of her neck. The necklace's charm was on the right side of her abdomen. I don't really get that, but let's see what in my review of her phone data, I noticed several photos of her. Oh, yeah, okay. In which she's wearing that necklace. So just some more receipts, some more backup, in case you were wondering. Now it's time for the medical examiner, and I am guessing this person should probably start looking for a new job. Okay. OCME pathologist, from now on it'll be the medical examiner, performed an autopsy on her body. The medical examiner determined that the cause of death was asphyxia by hanging. The medical examiner ruled the manner of death as suicide. The medical examiner's written autopsy report noted that Birchmore's hyoid bone, the U-shaped bone at the front of the neck, so it's right here where your collarbones are, was fractured on the right side, and she suffered from hemorrhaging. I don't know any of these words. Additionally, so basically this is saying strangulation. That's what I'm getting from this. I don't know any of the words, and I'm not a doctor or a nurse, and this is all for entertainment purposes only. Additionally, the medical examiner concluded that Birchmore had a hemorrhage of her left something muscle. Nurse Kim will probably know. The medical examiner's autopsy report further confirmed that Birchmore was approximately 8 to 10 weeks pregnant. Okay. Yikes. This autopsy included toxology tests. The results of the toxology tests were negative for all substances except for antidepressants. Okay. So defense attorney is going to say, yeah, she was depressed, she wanted to die, and the prosecution is going to be like, well, actually, we brought receipts. That's how they can argue this, I'm guessing. Okay, as part of this investigation, the government retained, this is like the Mac Daddies. What are their names? You guys know. Retained Dr. William Smock, an expert, to independently review the crime scene photos. Oh boy. And the medical examiner's autopsy report. Dr. Smock is an emergency medicine residency and forensic, he's probably like Harvard, fellowship trained physician with more than 40 years of experience, more than I've been alive, in the forensic evaluation of injuries, crime scenes, the forensic evaluations. This is all of his background. Department of Justice, the Police Academy. He's a medical advisor to the FBI, the U.S. Marshal, assistant medical examiner with the Kentucky Medical Examiner's Office, including the emergency treatment, investigation, and reconstruction of asphyxia-related deaths and the analysis of a crime scene for evidence of alteration. Oh. Well, what are those guys, the Mac Daddies? That's this version in the Sandra Birchmore case. He has treated and evaluated thousands of patients, both fatally and non-fatally injured, who have experienced the psychological or the physiological consequences of asphyxia, including strangulation. Dr. Smock has written, lectured, so Auntie Bev wants to see his credentials. And trained thousands of law enforcement officers, physicians. He has trained, written, and lectured thousands of law enforcement officers, physicians, nurses, judges, and attorneys on evidence collection, crime scene investigation, the analysis and reconstruction of wounds, injury mechanisms, and the medical risks and consequences of asphyxia. Oh boy. Are those guys called the Mac Daddies? Because that's this version right here. Based on his review of the evidence, Dr. Smock made several observations and conclusions that call into question prior finding that Birchmore's death was a suicide, and instead further confirm her cause of death was a homicide. First, Mac Daddy concluded that the fracture of the right superior horn of her thyroid bone. Okay, so what they're saying is the position of her neck is not consistent with the position in which the first responders found her, sitting. The sitting hanging is called an incomplete hanging, meaning only partial body weight is applied to the neck. His review of hundreds of cases of hangings in the forensic medical literature found no reported cases of a hyoid bone fracture in seated women. Oh, so, gosh, these guys, this is so awesome. Fractures of the hyoid bone are more commonly seen in strangulation assaults and in hangings with the full body weight applied to the ligature, not seated hangings. So if there's any question that she didn't do it herself, we brought more receipts. Second, Dr. Smock noted that during the autopsy, a pattern imprint was documented on her right upper chest. The pattern imprint was the consequence of a buckle or buckles from the ligature strap being forced down onto her chest. The presence of this pattern imprint is not consistent with this hanging. This is a seated hanging. Rather, the presence of this pattern is consistent with blunt force trauma from an assault. Hmm. Well, Allie, I would start looking for a new job. When first responders found her body, the buckle responsible for this imprint was observed just below her right ear. However, the location of the imprint on her chest is not consistent with an incomplete ligature hanging. I don't really get that, but what I do understand is she didn't do it herself. He reviewed the autopsy photos that depict her with areas of skin from the inside of her nose consistent with abrasions. These types of injuries are commonly seen in cases of suffocation when the victim moves their nose back and forth in an effort to get air. He noted that Birchmore was in the habit of always wearing a chain necklace with a flamingo pendant. The chain was found broken around her neck. The breaking of her chain is consistent with the struggle. These are definitely the Mac Daddies of someone should be looking for a new job, and it looks like it's a few people. Dr. Smock, based on his education, experience, and training, and his review of the materials in this case, opined with reasonable degree of medical and scientific certainty that the cause of her death is asphyxia, and the manner of her death is homicide. Oh boy. Mic drop. Massachusetts State Patrol make another appearance. They interview Trash Bucket. On February 6, 2021, 2 days after the police found Birchmore's body in her apartment, MSP detectives interviewed Farwell. The interview occurred in the parking lot of a Stoughton elementary school. During this interview, Farwell made several false statements about his relationship to Birchmore. Farwell told officers that he was involved in a sexual relationship with her, but he claimed the relationship only began in 2020. Based on this investigation, his statement to detectives were false. Oh, there's another crime. As described above, Farwell began hooking up with her in 2013 and continued until almost her death. He told detectives that he had only hooked up with her 2 or 3 times in the previous year. Should just start noting every single time that she's about to back this up. I guess we should stick with this color because my color coding got off. Come on. Oh, well. Oh, I think it's present. Based on text messages between Farwell and Birchmore, he had intercourse on at least 10 occasions between at least 10. Oh, well, there's more backup. Okay, made several false statements about his relationship with Birchmore. He told officers, okay, yeah, she just keeps showing, oh boy. Oh boy. Like, how? There are going to be a lot of people looking for a job after this. Oh man, heads are definitely going to roll. Well, as they should. Okay. Based on text messages, okay, he hooked up with her at least 10 times. Well, probably more than that. But he was hooking up. Oh, who knows? Okay, he told detectives that he could not have been the father of her unborn child because the last time he had intercourse with her. This might be a good ending spot. We're only on page 35 or something of 71. So that'll be a good start. All right, my loves. It's late here. I'm going to call it a night and tell you that I love you very much. Thank you so much for coming. If you want me to do the second half of this, let me know. The more that I'm reading it, the more stuff that we're finding. So